Hey guys, welcome back to Holley Day. You can see I've got all my parts laid out here, new gaskets, uh, etc. O-rings on different things, new O-rings on the fuel tube, transfer tube, and then this is a new float valve which I'll put in. But first let me talk about why or how she was running on dirt. And what was happening was the secondary system, because that seems to be in fairly decent condition, was carrying the primary uh, section. So even though there was no, if I pick up the float bowl, even though the valve was completely seized up, there was no fuel coming down into the float. And the fuel inlet was pretty dirty. This little filter here that connects to the fuel that goes into the fuel inlet there, that was pretty dirty. So clean that up, put a new I don't know what you call that. Well, you know what I'm talking about, right? uh Put a new one of those on. So what I'm going to do is just a very step-by-step deal here, showing what has been done and how it's going to go back together. So we'll start with the float bowl. Didn't remove the float bowl because it's in good condition. But what I did was, if you see that mark there, that mark lines up with that edge of the float bowl right there. So when I turn my float valve in, or float needle, I don't know which they call it, then all I got to do is bring it down to there. So I'll do that right now. So what I'm going to do with my thumb, see, so my thumb is holding the float level with the mark right there. And then I'm just going to take my float needle, the new one, and feed it down in there. And then I'm just going to turn it in until the needle touches. See the little nipple on the float arm there? So I'm just going to turn it in until that touches there. So coming on down. Getting closer. So I'm just going to take it real easy. I'm not going to hurry with anything. And this will be a good video for anybody out there is just trying to figure out something for themselves, you know. So it's tightening up a little bit, probably because of the O-ring. And what you can do is you can take the adjusting nut there, and you can use that. You can drop that over. See how it's shaped the same? So you just drop it over the top, and you can use that as a tool to finish turning it down, give you a bit more leverage. So I think not touch more. Feels pretty tight though. Hope I didn't cross any threads. Maybe touch more. So I'm just gonna bring that back up. Just keeping an eye on my mark there. And turn it down a touch more. Yeah, it's a bit tight. But I think, I guess I could test it. No, that doesn't seem to be right, does it? I think I'll just back it out again and just take a look at it. Yeah, she's backing out pretty easy. Like I said, there'll be no hurry with this video. We just want to get it right, you know? Yep, everything looks pretty good. Alright, so we'll go again. Yeah, it seems to be easier this time. What I want to do is bring that down. Now my float's right at the mark. Bring it down some more. It's starting to work now. Bring it down some more, huh? Yeah, it's feeling pretty tight now. A little bit of room there. So 5/8 wrench. There we go, that's easier. I don't know if you can still see my mark, but... Oh, okay, that was the problem. Problem was, the angle I'm holding it at, the needle wasn't dropping down. Now, this is a new needle, so I'll try bringing it down a bit more. because I want to make sure that the needle is moving up enough to close off, you know? And that should be fairly level with, bring it down a bit more maybe. I'll try that. A little bit. Oh yeah, it seems to be going okay. You see it pushing up there. So the fuel fills up, pushes your float up, and then closes it off. Well, I think that's pretty close. Maybe a touch more. What do you think, guys? A little bit more? I don't know whether to call that a done deal or not. You still got plenty of meat left at the top. Bring it down some more. What do you think? Call that a done deal? I don't know, guys. I'm just trying to feel it out. It is slightly different from the old one. Well, let me think here for a second. When the float was in that position, level with the mark, the needle was all the way up. Alright, so I think I might be tripping myself up here. And I need to bring that down so that the needle is in the up position. Yeah, that makes better sense because it doesn't make sense that the float would be up in there like that. Float's got to be level. It's a tricky little booger. So probably should just turn that down until there's no play. Pretty sure you got to be careful with it though because come down some more. quite a bit more, I think. So like I said, I'm just going to take my time with this video, get it as detailed as I can to try to help anybody out there in YouTube land. Still more. What we need that valve to shut off completely when the float is level. Oh, we're getting close now. Let's see, there's my mark. Oof, maybe just a turn more. Oh, that's pretty close. You see? So when the fuel empties out of the bowl, when you're using fuel, float will drop down, let fuel in through the valve, and then it'll fill back up the bowl. And then when the fuel isn't being used and the fuel level's at the right level, the valve will be shut off to stop more fuel coming in. Oh, that's pretty close, guys. So that's the valve. Feels like it's shut off. I think maybe just a hair more down. I think that's looking pretty close. Alright, I think I'm going to try that. Okay, so that's in position. And I'll just take that nut off that I used as a tool. And then this little gasket has to go under it. Oh, there's not much room, is there? I think I lost track of the clean side. And then you put your nut in the right position there. And then you take your locking screw, which has a new gasket on there. Turn it down into the top of the valve. And then you hold your nut in place. Take a screwdriver, give it a little tighten on there. Just snug, don't over tighten anything. Just double check that float again. Yeah, it looks pretty good, I think. Wow, look at that, guys. Beautiful. Okay, so with that done, now we'll put in the inlet filter. You see it goes in through there. It's got a new, damn, I don't know what to call that, washer? So probably what I'm going to do is just for the video, I'll just hand tighten most stuff. Just get it all lined up for you, as detailed as I can, and then I'll come back later and just kind of snug everything up and make it feel good and everything. Alright, so that's a good start. So you get the idea with that. Put that aside. We'll put the diaphragm on last. And now we'll put on the gasket that goes between the main body and the metering block. So you can see we've already got this new O-rings on this little tube that connects. So it goes into the metering block like that. And then into your main body. Let's see if I can get that lined up. Try to line all your holes up as you go. And then I'm just gonna press that in, hopefully. Looks like the gasket's in the right spot. I can maybe turn it in there. No, maybe my O-rings are a little bit too big. Yep, something's up. It's not going in there like it should. There's probably some kind of lubricant I could use. But I don't think I have anything available. So I'll take a pause for a minute here and see what I can do about this, and then I'll bring you back when it's looking like a done deal, because at the moment no. I'll bring you guys back in a little bit. Okay guys, so I went and ran and got some slightly smaller O-rings, and it went in there quite a bit better. This little tube here, you see the little O-ring there on the end. Okay, so that's situated. Now we'll put the power valve back in. I'm gonna actually use the power valve that was in it, because it's the one that came in the kit is bigger. Seems slightly longer, and so I'm actually gonna give this a try. Put it back in there. I think it'll be fine. It gave me a good vibe. So I think we're good to go. So that turns in there like that. Just give it a little snuggie with an adjustable or a shifter. Nice and easy. Nothing crazy. Oops. I think that'll do it. I ain't gonna argue with that. And then we can make sure our dowels line up with where they're supposed to be. This one here goes into this hole, and this one here goes into this center hole right here. And then I'm gonna see if I can get that lined up nice. I don't think I've forgotten anything. No, it doesn't feel quite right. I can line up that back dowel first, maybe. Like that. I'm putting a little bit of pressure on it, but I'm not comfortable with it. Whoop. I've got the gasket on the dowel, I think. I think it's that. Maybe I should try it the other way around. I can get that off. I've got a backup gasket, but I don't want to use it if I can help it. Okay. I'm thinking maybe it would be easier to go the other direction. I'll put that down. Work this back out of here. Yeah, I just know. Just feel it. There's some kind of lube that would make this easier. So I'm just thinking if I go this direction with it, and then maybe feed that end down into there. Oh yeah, then onto the dowels. That makes sense. Okay. So I'll work that in there. And then everything should line up. Now that's feeling better, but this is slightly crooked. So I gotta get that straight. I think that might be pretty good, guys. What do you think? Alright, so now really, the main thing I gotta worry about, now from this angle it looks crooked still. It's looking pretty good. Alright, so I'll flip that over. If I can just make sure that that tube get a little bit of light going on here. I think if I line up that tube first, it should be downhill from there. Yeah, it's amazing what a little bit of light will do, isn't it? There we go. Alright, so I know that's in the right spot now. And that down there. So that's lined up in the right spot. I'll come around this side. See if I can spot that dowel. Yeah, it looks right. It's just that damn O-ring. I think. Whoops. I think that might be. I don't know. There's still a good gap there. I'm thinking maybe we can use the float bowl to bring it all down in square. That's all right. Get your gasket over the dowels. Nice and easy, no rush on anything. There we go. Slow but sure. Having a little bit of trouble with this corner here. Okay, what we're gonna do is put the ball on. A little bit of light to see if everything's. No. So what I'll do is I'll go with one at a time. So I'll get that one started. And then I'll get this corner lined up, which is perfect. And then I'll get it started. And the other two should be good to go. Yep, they sure are. I don't think so. I get a Phillips real quick. And I think what we'll do is we'll turn down the one first that has the biggest gap. I think we'll try for this one, the last one we did. It seems to be going pretty good. It's looking all right, guys. It's coming down square. I think we're okay. There's still a bit of a gap on this side. I'll just keep on easing them down until it feels right. Yeah. Back over to this one. It's hard to go wrong with the old diagonal technique. And over to this one. Over to this one. Now they were fairly thick gaskets, so I'm just trying to figure how tight I want to go with those. You know what, guys? I forgot something. Okay, guys. So I did forget to put the transfer tube in because I was so focused on getting this squared down nicely. But it might have actually worked better for me. So what I'll do is I'll back them back off. Take the float bowl back off. Weigh it up again. And then put my transfer tube in there. But we're close. We're almost done. So we're getting close. Like I said, I wanted to make this as detailed as possible and not just like wham bam there it is kind of thing. You know what I mean? Wham bam doesn't work with mechanical stuff. Kind of got to finesse things back together sometimes. Alright, we'll take this off. See how that metering block is sitting now. Well, it's much better. It's real close now. Much better. So basically, we used the float ball to get everything cinching down square. I'm just making sure this little hole is clear from, that's where the pump shoots fuel up this tube and then into that little tube with the O-rings and then out into the body where them spray nozzles are. Okay, so doing good. I marked my transfer tube. So this is the top from where I had it. I hope this goes in better. Okay guys, so I reached behind me and grabbed a little bit of food grade grease. Put just a little smear of that on that O-ring and she slipped right in there. So that's probably what I should have done with that little crossover tube through that metering block too, but I think we're okay. So let's get the float ball back on there. And we just need to start by lining up transfer tube. And then doing what we did before, lining up some holes. These gaskets are quite a bit thicker than the original ones that I took out of there. Something's not right there. There we go. Get that diagonal thing going on again here in a second. That's biting. We'll go diagonal. Nice and easy. Does she look like she's tightening down square? Yeah, it's looking like it. Pretty good. Oh yeah, that's going really good now. Now this one should go in fairly easy. It's a little bit tight. Try this one. Uh, this gasket here, well, they were both quite a bit thicker than the originals. There was a cork gasket between the metering block and the body. Probably the original gasket from '77. And that's why it was had become one with everything else. Okay, so we'll put our diaphragm and pump. Let's see, it'd probably be better if I leaned it over the way I had it. That way you can see it pretty good. The spring has to be seated in that groove there. Yeah, that seems pretty good. And then I have to make sure I've got my arm in the right place. Not my arm, but the throttle arm. Maybe not. Okay, guys. I got myself pretty well bound up. My left hand is holding a lot of stuff until I get my screws started. One. I'm gonna have to feel it out. No. I think that one there is pretty well lined up. I'll try that one. Feels like it might be happening. Yeah, that one's going. That one's smooth. Now get that one lined up. Yep. If I can get those two going on. Now I have to do some adjusting on this deal right here. I think she's going in. Yeah, that one's going in smooth. And this one should go in smooth. There she goes. Alright, so basically, she's together. There's gonna need to be a few adjustments. Oh yeah, you can hear the suction going on in there. If I hold that like that, so I'm just looking it over. Everything looks square. Gasket's not sticking out anywhere. Okay, guys. I think I'm satisfied. I'll do a little bit of tweaking here and there on it, off camera. And then the next step will be to put it back on Thunder Truck 3 and see how she goes. Check for leaks. And see if we've answered the question. Okay, guys, have a good day.